Hi, my name is Robert Shelley with Shelley Law, and my law firm assists nurse practitioners with employment contract and independent contractor agreement issues. Today I'm going to talk about how a nurse practitioner can become an independent contractor. Now, obviously, it's a personal choice if you want to work as an independent contractor or not, but I'll kind of walk through the pros and cons and things to look for if you're thinking about doing it. So there are two types of employment relationships for an NP. You can be an employee, or you'll sign an employment contract, or you can be an independent contractor. And so what are the main differences? Well, if you're an employee, you'll be paid a salary. At the end of the year, you'll get a W-2. Taxes are taken out of, your payment on whatever the pay period frequency is for the employer. As an independent contractor, you'll be paid as a 1099 employee, meaning no taxes will be taken out of it. You will be responsible to pay the taxes. And then, as I said before, you'll be considered a 1099 and receive that at the end of the year. So as an employee, the things that you'll get would be benefits, and you're not going to get any of those as an independent contractor. So in an employment relationship, most of the time they're going to pay, health, vision, dental, life, disability, some kind of retirement. They'll pay for your dues and fees, continuing education, malpractice insurance. So in addition to be paid a salary, you're going to get a lot of the ancillary benefits that you won't get as an independent contractor. Why would you be an independent contractor versus an employee? Well, most of the time it's when you're working part-time. So if you're just filling in once a week or even less than that, it wouldn't make sense to really classify you as an employee, and you could work as an independent contractor. So the benefits of working as an independent contractor theoretically would be the agreement would be easier to get in and out of, meaning you would have to provide less notice if you're going to terminate the contract. You'd be able to work in multiple spots. Sometimes as an employee, they potentially could ask for exclusivity, or they would have the veto power of you kind of working in any kind of outside activities. Meaning, so just to boil this down, if you're an employee, basically the employer could stop you from working anywhere else, whereas as an independent contractor, kind of the entire point of it is you're kind of free to work wherever you want, for whoever you want, without that person or organization interfering with where you work. Now, as an independent contractor, as I said before, as a 1099, you're not going to get any of those ancillary benefits. You're not going to get health, vision, dental, life, disability, retirement. They're not going to provide any of that. They're not going to pay for your licensing board, DEA registration, continuing education. Malpractice insurance, usually they won't pay for that. Sometimes they will. And then depending upon what type of policy it is, either an occurrence-based policy or claims-made policy, you got to take that into account as well. If you are a nurse who's working as an independent contractor and you're responsible for paying for your malpractice, you need to think, it's not you have one policy that covers you for everywhere you work. It's employer specific. So if you're working for 4 different organizations and you're responsible for paying for malpractice insurance for all 4 of those, you need to take into account you're going to have to pay for 4 separate policies, and then if they are claims made, 4 separate tail insurance costs as well. So the main benefit, just to kind of wrap up, is kind of easy in, easy out. Can work from multiple places at the same time, and it's really up to you how much you work. Those are the main benefits of being an independent contractor, whereas the main benefits of being an employee is you get all the ancillary benefits paid for. Now, the tax situation of being an independent contractor, I'm not an accountant, but I do know a little bit about it, and you definitely need to create some kind of LLC or the equivalent in whatever state you're in, and set up a bank account, run all of the payments through that, and then deduct all of those costs that I just mentioned. So you can deduct the malpractice insurance, the licensing board, DEA registration, supplies, malpractice insurance. If I didn't already say that, I honestly don't remember. And then it could be insurance, the health, vision, dental, retirement, disability, all that kind of stuff can be deducted as well. So you do have some tax advantages, or at least benefits, of being an independent contractor. You don't have to just eat all of those costs. But it certainly is more difficult when you're on your own to find all of those things. It certainly is much easier if you're an employee and they just say, here are all your benefits. Whereas if you're out on your own, you got to go find all of those, and then finding a kind of a cost-effective health insurance policy when you're on your own, or disability or retirement and all those types of things can be difficult. And some people simply are just not interested in making or going the extra mile and trying to find the best possible policy in those situations for you. So that's it's simple to become an independent contractor as a NP. You just gotta take a position as an independent contractor. One word of warning: I find some employers will misclassify people as independent contractors simply because they don't want to pay the employment tax. And so what I mean by that is, if you're working full-time for an employer, but they classify you as an independent contractor and not provide you with any of those benefits, it's very likely they're misclassifying you. And as I said before, they're just doing that to not have to pay employment tax. It's somewhere around 12%, I believe, of whatever the gross income of the employee is. So take that into account. Whereas if you're taking a full-time job, and the IRS offers, it's like a 20-factor test on whether someone's an employee or independent contractor. Some of those factors would include: do you have control over your schedule, of where you work, who you work with, the type of patients you see? So if the employer is dictating all of these things, here's your schedule, here's where you're working, here's who you're working with, here's your patients that you're seeing, that type of thing is very likely you're an employee and not an actual independent contractor. Well, hopefully that's helpful. If you have any questions about an employment agreement or independent contractor agreement as an NP, happy to answer any questions you have. You can contact us through our phone number listed below in the description, or through our website listed below as well. And appreciate you watching the video. Thanks.